Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts right now.
¿Cómo están, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge, coming to you live from Hangar 6. I'm Mike. The guy in the middle is Evo, and to our far right, we have a special guest. She works for FanDuel. She is a chemist. She is one half of the Unsportsmanlike Conduct podcast, and she is an absolute legend on all social media for Cleveland. Gabb Goudy, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. How you guys doing?
I'm watching this fucking baseball game, and it could be a little better, but I'm not surprised. So,
the Yankees are they're going to be tough to beat this year, and it pisses me off.
I mean, you guys did pretty well against my Twinkies here over the past 9 games or whatever it was, or 9 games in 13 days or something.
Oh, I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. Hey, but we still got the first right now, right?
Right, for
you
now.
do,
yeah.
because a terrible series in between our two series.
Right.
Evo, how's your weekend going, man? What you been up to?
It's been pretty quiet so far. We've just been having major monsoons down here in southern Arizona, so sticking to the house a little bit and a little bit of hiking and stuff like that. And I have no idea what I'm doing for the rest of the weekend for the 4th, for the holiday. Gonna go see some fireworks or something, but we'll see.
Very nice, very nice. So I've been seeing all the pictures of you guys going hiking. It looks awesome and fucking terrible. I'm way too fat for the hiking process. I'm not getting my ass out there and going hiking. Plus, I got the bad knees, the bad back, so not getting in on that. But I mean, yeah, we got to find something to do for the 4th. I think we're gonna try to go up to around the lake. I forget the name of the fucking place. They're doing some special thing, like a little carnival this weekend. Take the kids out there, see some fireworks, break this diet that I've been on, even though I'm doing that today with a beer, just to get the hell out of the house, get these kids doing something and enjoy the time. Gabb, any special plans for the 4th? What are some of those badass things that happen in the Cleveland area? I'm brand new to the area. Evo is obviously not out here, so.
Well, what I'm doing is going to the baseball game tomorrow. I was going to go today, and then I saw that the starting price for tickets are like $55. I'm like, if I want to see us get our ass kicked for $55, I'm going to watch that at home. So I'm not going to attend that, but I will go tomorrow. I'm going to watch the game. Monday, I think I'm just going to relax. I got a big weekend. I'm going to Vegas next weekend, so I'm trying to save it all. Yeah, I'm trying to save it all for the next weekend.
Very nice, very nice. What are you going out to Vegas for? Is this a FanDuel thing, or?
Yeah, I'm going so we're like a partner with the Suns. They're one of our partners. We have a sports book in their arena, and I'm going to like do content with them. It's more of like a reward than like an actual content trip, but like, yeah. So like the Suns take some of their partners on their summer league trip. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Thank you.
Hey,
thank you,
it's
Phoenix
Vegas.
Suns.
There'll always be content in Vegas.
Right.
There's always content in Vegas, and the NBA is about to be fucking wild out there with all the shit that's going on. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But one thing that we always kind of start the show off with is some youth sports stuff. I'm a youth league coach. Did not get the coach this year since we just moved here like a week before the league started. We finally got here, got signed up. But boys had a game Friday. We ended up getting rained out like everything else did in the fucking Northeast last night. But thank God we did get rained out because it was not looking good. We got run maxed in the first inning, down 7-0. The umpire was not having a good day. He was ready to get the hell out of there. My son, pretty good little player, got up to bat, fouled off the first pitch. Umpire said strike 2. Swung and missed on the second pitch. Strike 3, you're out. I about leapt out of my skin, and I was like, "What the hell is going on here? We got 2 pitches in. Like, Come on. Ask the coach, hey, was that 3 pitches? Coach is not happy at this point. He's like, this is why I'm fucking paying you $60. Like, pay attention. Like, if we're playing a game, let's play the game. I understand it sucks. It's raining. We're probably getting rained out in about 15 minutes, which is exactly what happened. But like, you're out here to do a job. Let's go ahead and do that job. We are playing the number 1 team in the league. But I mean, hopefully we'll get a reset, start that whole game over, come out, and the boys will play a little bit better in the early innings. It's where they kind of struggle. But they are the 3 seed right now. Looks like they are going to make the playoffs. So I'm very excited about that. Evo, you got any youth stuff going on out there that you want to talk about? I don't know. I don't know. We don't have anybody out there doing cheerleading competitions anymore because they all moved away.
Everyone from our little community here in Arizona has spread out across the country now, and I'm just stuck here alone.
Well, at least you get to see me at least once every week. And I can bring a little bit of that youth sports stuff into your life. I mean, if you want, I could bring the kids in here. They'll start screaming, no problem.
Yeah, I bet. I miss the girls and Miss G, but I'm good with that for now.
Yeah, agreed. I understand. And Gabb, no kids, right? You're fairly young, right?
I'm 26.
26. Okay, so you are young. You are younger than we are. You guys do anything with youth sports?
See, I'm just gonna be honest. Kids,
no.
It's a no from. It's gonna be a no from me. I'm watching the Little League game right now, clearly, so that's enough. That's enough for me. Yep.
All right. Well, that's really all I got for the youth stuff. I did have to pull out one of my favorite movie quotes last night. The kids were upset we got rained out. Listen, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and sometimes it rains. Little Bull Durham quote for the boys. They're way too young to know that movie, and actually, I'm a little too young to watch that movie as much as I do. But all right, let's dive into some of the topics we got for today. First thing we're gonna go into is baseball. I mean, we just had a massive 9-game couple series between the Twins, came out ahead there, but we are still down in the standings, and I have some concerns as it relates to our pitching staff right now. I know that was one concern that Evo had about his ball club, is that the pitching was just not good enough to take them where the Twins want to go this year. They're losing their pitching coach.
To LSU, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have not pitched well enough that what I would expect from this Guardians team. And right. I mean, we're scoring some runs. There are days where we're cold, but we got enough young guys who are putting the bat on the ball that we should be scoring a little bit more. But man, we cannot keep anybody off the board. So Evo, let me get your take on kind of what you saw from the series between us, the one that we came out ahead of, and then Gabb, we'll go to you, and then we'll kind of get your take on where you feel like the Guardians are at right now. And if there's any moves that you see coming or that we need to make here at the deadline, because that's coming up very quick, because I know Evo's got a couple of things that he wants to see his Twins do at this deadline.
Yeah, so after that first game, when 11-1 Twins win, I felt pretty good about my squad going into it. But, I mean, to only take 2 out of the 3 that we played is kind of disappointing. And I think it comes down, same thing on my side, is pitching. We were able to put up some decent, numbers as far as scoring runs compared to the previous several games, but just wasn't able to put it together. Our bullpen is hurting. We need to make some moves here at the trade deadline if we want to continue to stay competitive. But I got, like I said, that first game, I got to see where the bats got lively again. Felt good about it. But and at least, on the Wednesday night game to go to 10 innings or something like that, at least make that a little bit of a match. I mean, obviously we're the 2 teams here in the Central that are really worth a shit right now. And it'll be fun watching how this, rivalry goes down for the rest of the year. But for us, it's pitching. I mean, you guys definitely look good. And hopefully my Twins can get back on, a little bit of a winning streak or something like that. Cause I thought the tides were almost turning there for a second. But,
well, and we talked about at one point that you guys were slumping a little bit. People weren't talking about it too much, but your guys' bats were cold as shit. And you guys have started to hit in the last couple of weeks. We saw that. You guys are continuing to hit. Byron Buxton is back on the field, which is a massive jolt to that lineup. You guys need him in the lineup, and he's got to play like an MVP for you guys. So getting him back, getting him healthy, and getting guys starting to hit again is going to be huge. But I do agree, you guys are going to have to make a move for a pitcher. So Gabb, going to you, where do you see our Guardians right now, and where are we needing to make a move?
Well, they're doing a lot better. Oh, sorry, about to see Jose Era. They're doing a lot better than I thought they were going to. Like, I thought they were going to be absolutely terrible, worst team.
Yeah, I thought we wouldn't
all of
score any
baseball.
runs.
Yeah, I thought the runs part was my concern. I thought we were going to be really, really bad, not spending any money. This team is a joke. They're going to put out a joke lineup every single day. To my surprise, people have been hitting the ball. However, people have also been hitting against us. Our pitchers can't go a game without giving up at least 2 home runs at this point. Yeah. And that kind of, at least like have our, like, just the chance to put the ball in play maybe. No, they're crushing the ball.
Yeah, they're hitting us hard.
To like
everybody's
center.
hitting us hard.
Yeah. And even like Shane Bieber is making me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Like, we have a former Cy Young winner and a couple young guys that I really expected to kind of build off of that COVID season in the Plesac's and the Savalis, and they have taken a step back, it feels like. Obviously there was a lot of injuries to this ball club, especially that pitching staff last year. I wonder if they're still not quite ready. And then we have another season where we don't get a spring training because Rob Manfred and Major League Baseball can't pull their heads out of their asses.
Right. Yeah, so, like all of our pitchers are really wearing me. I feel like Zach of late has been pretty consistent, but I don't think anybody else is. I don't think anybody else has been
better. Tristan's been getting hit hard. Savali is a fucking train wreck right now, and then Shane is not that. You don't know what you're gonna get. He's not that guy.
You're either gonna get 8 strikeouts, maybe 2 runs, or he's gonna get crushed, and we'll lose to the Blue Jays like 8-2. So you never know.
Yeah, or you'll go into a weekend series after taking 2 or 3 from your in-division rival, and you'll get fucking swept at home
by the Red
Sox.
Right.
Yeah, I actually went to was it the Sunday game with the wife, and man,
I was there.
You were there. I saw some of the stuff on Twitter, and it had one of those feelings like this is not going to be a great day. Early in the game, ground out up the middle, and what does it do? It finds a way to kick off the second base bag, and that tells you it's like, okay, so
it's gonna be
things are just not fucking going our way today. Like there is something that is not allowing this to happen, and then we just continued to get shelled. I think they had 13, 14 hits that game. It was not great. I stuck it out to the end because I'm not gonna abandon this team. This team.
Nope, I left them.
No, did you?
I left them in the dust. I went down to East 4th Street, got a margarita, watched the rest of the game inside. Yeah.
I'm a little jealous of leaving and going and having a margarita. I had to get up at the ass crack of dawn to go to work. Had to come back. Grandma can only watch these hellions for so long. So, yeah, we had to come back and take care of all that. But that was a tough series to kind of watch. And then we come back and what was it? 3 more games from the Twins, and we look like we're back on fire. We have guys. I mean, the Jimenez or Jimenez. How do you say?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, Jimenez.
Andres Jimenez. Yeah.
Yeah, Andres Jimenez is just absolutely should be a fucking all-star.
He's not gonna be.
No, he got robbed. He got robbed. And I mean, that walk-off was fantastic. It was very clutch. We absolutely needed that to not fall too far behind in these standings. Right now, we're sitting a game and a half back. So, I mean, we go into that first series with the Twins. We're down a game. We end up coming out, in a virtual tie for the division after that first series. Dropping the 3 straight was an absolute killer. That's what, has kind of put us behind now. If we can get one of those games, like I feel a lot better about it. It just, I got some concerns with our pitching. I would like to see another arm into that bullpen. I want Karinchak to get back.
Yeah, they just activated him today.
Oh, good.
It's very fitting. It's very fitting that he would be activated in the 4th of July weekend. It's just so him.
Well, of course.
It really is so him.
But
I mean, so funny.
That's something that we need, and I'd also love to see another bat. But I don't know where you stick him. because we got so many young guys. We have so many young guys that I don't want to see come out of the lineup, especially in the outfield. Like I want Quan in the outfield. I want Gonzalez in the outfield. Now, if we can drop Miles Straw and make him a fourth outfielder, I think I'd be okay with that at this point. He's just not hitting enough. He's great defensively, kind of that Rajay Davis late in his career type guy. You bring him in, he can run, he can go out and play defense. But I don't know where we put that other bat, because if Naylor is not on the field, I don't want it.
I don't know. Yeah.
Put him at first, put him in right. I don't care. Get this guy in the lineup. He injects fucking adrenaline straight into my veins. He's an absolute psychopath. I mean, headbutting Terry Francona.
He should know better than that, honestly. Like, he's a fragile man. He's been in and out of the hospital for a few years, and he wants to headbutt him. Like, maybe try somebody else. Maybe like the hitting coach. I don't know.
Now, how active do you guys actually think the Guardians will be when it comes up to the trade deadline? Because it was an interesting offseason, I guess we'll say it, for you guys. And like you guys talked about, didn't really think you guys were going to put together too much of a squad. Thought it was going to kind of be a wash here. And obviously, and no disrespect, it seems like you're way overperforming what everyone's expectations were.
Yeah, I didn't think that they would be here.
Do you think that they'll actually be that active before it comes to the trade deadline to make some of these moves and bring in possibly some pitching talent or another bat?
I would hope so, but at the same time, they just love holding on to their youthful players that play in Double-A.
Yeah,
and
constantly.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I feel the same way about my Twins. I would love to see them go out and do something, but traditionally we haven't really been doing that. Now this offseason, we took a little bit of a different approach. I mean, we went on and got like Correa. We got bigger name that we're not used to doing. And because we've been in first here in the Central for so long this year and actually shown a little more of a spark, maybe the front office is going to try to actually make a couple more moves. I don't know. That's the optimist in me, but the pessimist of a Minnesota sports fan tells me it just ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I 100% feel that. And I think it's crazy that we're at the point where we have so many players that could possibly be on the field that you don't want them off the field. And I just didn't even think we would be there at all.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting us to compete. I was expecting a probably sub 500 season. And I think that it's probably what the majority of the front office was thinking as well. So that makes me think we'll probably stay pat at the deadline because they were not expecting to compete. We are ahead of schedule. And I mean, they have guys that they want to bring up. Like
Nolan Jones.
There are people who are waiting. There are people waiting for Valera to get up there. And I cannot wait to see that kid hit the field for the Guardians. So we're not trading top prospects. I mean, you're going to have to trade some guys who are maybe current players, but I don't want to see that either. We got so much youth. We're by far the youngest team in baseball. Like, let's hang out. Let's ride this out. Let's hopefully put together maybe a playoff season. Let's be ahead of schedule. And then next year we can actually go out and spend some money because we're actually probably going to be able to do that now that we have another minority owner added to that Guardians franchise. Like, we're going to be able to insert some money and maybe go out and be players, even though we are still one of those mid-market teams.
I think a lot of people are going to be upset with whatever they do because they're holding on to these. Like, everybody loves Valera. Everybody loves all of these guys. And some of them probably won't make it to play on the field for our team. So that's going to be upsetting for a lot of people, but hopefully it works out.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it does. I would love to see another championship of some fashion here in Cleveland. It's been obviously it was a long time before, and then LeBron brought us one with the Cavs. And I mean, a baseball championship would be amazing. It will do really nothing. Cool. It would be nothing compared to the Browns winning the Super Bowl. But I mean, if we could bring home that piece of metal that Rob Manfred loves, metal. It would be really special. And this place would go absolutely fucking ballistic. So I would love to see that. But,
me too.
All right. So you guys got anything else on baseball that you want to talk about? Any storylines that kind of popped out to you guys?
I got one thing for us, and this does kind of, I guess, bring it back a little bit to the youth sports, at least here in Arizona. And I'm not sure if either of you are tracking. Have you heard the name Derek Hall for the Philadelphia Phillies?
I have. I've actually been following this.
Mm-hmm.
So Derek Hall actually just got brought up by the Phillies. He's been, their minors and stuff like that for quite a while. And in his 3 games, I believe that he's played for them, he's hit a couple dingers. So
Nice.
he's actually a Sierra Vista product. He was a former Buena Colt from out here. Played with the Buena Colts from 2010, 2014. So the town's really kind of rallying around the Phillies all of a sudden, which is kind of cool to see. We're a very small community down here in Southern Arizona. So to have someone make it on the big stage is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, that's super cool. I saw this. Actually, some of the people I coach their kids, they are very familiar with this family, and they're posting all about it. The kid, I think, hit his first 2 hits as a major leaguer were home runs in back-to-back at bats.
And he's got, I believe, 3 home runs now.
Yeah, he's lighting it up. He's batting 4th today. So the kid is making good, and it's awesome for that community down there. I mean, I'm very close with, a lot of those people still, even after having left, a lot of those parents, those kids that I coached. So it's fantastic that, to have one of those things, because that kind of, invigorates a community, especially a youth community. Baseball's huge down there, even in Southern Arizona, even where we're small. Like, we're playing good baseball, and I have noticed the difference when we got out here. Man, to have that, now you can point to somebody from your town that has gone out and made good, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'd be totally called out by everyone here at work and people in the town if I didn't say something.
All right, well, good job bringing that up. What's up, pimpin'? Carlton Kid, thanks for hopping in here, man. Anybody know a Carlton Kid? Because I do not.
Can't say I do, but
All
thanks
right,
for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, man. Keep the comments coming. All right, so we're going to transition, and we kind of brought up NBA a little bit with Gabb going out doing some stuff for FanDuel. So we're going to hop over into the NBA, and the NBA world is absolutely fucking on fire right now. And for one reason that I absolutely love, and that is the complete implosion of the Nets. They are not going to have any of the superstars that they worked so hard to get, gave up way too many assets to obtain, traded one mid-season, and the only guy they're going to end up with keeping is Ben Simmons, a guy who I'm not even sure is going to keep playing.
He'll play.
I mean, I think he might be out for a little bit, but I mean, I hope he gets back. I hope he works through the mental issues, but that entire situation, you get a KD, you get a Kyrie, you get James Harden. Like, this is a super team, right? These are the teams that were put together to beat that LeBron-led squad down in Miami. Like, that, this is where that all started, and it's an utter fucking failure. Like, I am so happy to see this. I was pumped when Giannis won a championship because he did it with him and a bunch of other, just another guys. I mean, Chris Middleton is a very good player. He's an all-star, but he is not a superstar. And I could not think of a better scenario to happen to that super team. Gabb, I can see you. You're ready to get it on this. What do you got?
I don't know. So, like, first off, I respect Kyrie for what he did for us. That was awesome. Yep. That memory will never go away. However, when you started crying, saying, Cleveland, I don't want to be here. I hate it here. I want to be the guy. Where were you the guy? Have you ever been the guy? No, because you always needed a sidekick. And guess what happened when they came? You started crying again. This is crying number 3, right? Yeah, this is.
Yeah, crying number 3. It was Cleveland, Boston, and now with the Nets.
Yeah, so I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for their fans. Their fans were so annoying. They're like, this team is going to win it all. We're so good. No one can even compete. And you guys could barely make it into the playoffs. You're lucky. You're lucky that you played the Cavs who have no playoff experience.
Right.
For your playing game.
Who also, in my opinion, overachieved this year. But I expect to be fucking fantastic next year.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know what's going to happen to them, but I just know that it's really funny.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about it. Evo, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't see them being relevant for any time here in the near future. I mean, other than the names that they had on the squad, I don't know they're really relevant recently. So it is nice to kind of see them blow up. But yeah, we're having a lot of other movement going on through the NBA. I mean, my Wolves just made a big deal, and I'm still not too sure how I feel about it. We needed defense, but that's a lot that we gave up to go out and get Rudy, 4 first-round picks and a bunch of players. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We got a good young squad that we're building up. Hopefully, we didn't get rid of too many components that were kind of helping us, or at least over this past year where we finally made it into the playoffs. Any other moves that you guys saw that interesting to you?
Not really a move, but I was excited that the Cavs gave Darius Garland.
Yeah, resigning Garland was huge. I love them bringing back Ricky Rubio as well.
Me too. Yeah, I enjoy
that veteran presence in the backcourt is huge. We got 2 young guys. Well, right now we have 2 young guys. We'll see if that continues on. There may be obviously some movement. There's going to be a lot of people in on this KD sweepstakes. I've seen Cleveland Twitter already be like, well, what would make KD's legacy really good is if he comes to the Cavs. I don't know how I feel about that, but at the same time, if he brought us a championship, I'd be like, all right, yeah.
I mean, I think I would like it. I don't see what could go. Adding KD himself, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. KD plus others, too much, because, there's chaos. But KD alone, I think is fine.
What do you think
takes bad combo?
What does it take to get that done, though? That's what Sexton. It's another young player.
Collins got to go. Probably Jared Allen. That's fine.
Yeah, Jared Allen. I mean, man, I love the guy, but
we
got Mobley.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to take a haul. The Nets are going to be okay in the near future as long as they draft all right. They're going to get a ton of picks back, and they're going to be able to be players in free agency because of their market. But I mean, KD is saying that he wants to go down to Miami or possibly the Suns. I want to get Spicy Mike's reaction to that at some point. Hopefully he opts in here. He's watching this because adding KD to that squad would be very, very interesting. That's a lot. That's 2 really dominant players in KD. And then, I just forgot the kid's name. Their shooting guard. Booker. Thank you. Devin Booker. I mean, Chris Paul is fantastic. He is a pass first point guard. He could make that work, but that's a lot of one ball to go around. Okay, there he is. Spicy Mike hopping in. Does not want KD down there with the Suns.
I think it would be great for them.
What's up, $20? I mean, I think that would probably put them over the top to win a championship. They were really, really close.
Yeah, I think that would be really good for them.
I think people are just kind of starting to get off of that KD train, though. I think they see some of the drama that has come around it, and it's not been great.
Yeah, but I don't think it's him, though. I don't think the drama is him. I think the issue is just like all of them together. I think if you have him away from that, it's fine. Like when he was with the Warriors, it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, he fit in very well with that squad.
But the exit was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
But during was good. I mean, who cares as long as you win a championship?
Yeah, or 2.
Yeah, like it's just fine.
Yeah, that's good.
If you tell me we get Kevin Durant 2 championships, but the team's going to be a mess after, 100% sign me up. Every time.
Yeah, I would absolutely do that as well, especially if you can get 2 in a span of 3 years or 2 and 2. KD is hurt too often, and they want too many role players. I mean, you can find role players everywhere in the NBA, though. Like they're all over the place. You can get some vet guys. I mean, we're going to get Ricky Rubio back on what I think is a pretty good contract. I don't think he's going to start. He's going to probably come in, be that 6th guy, and run that second unit. Those guys are invaluable, and you can get a bunch of those guys, I think, still in this league.
I mean, Colin Sexton's going to be coming off the bench soon, so
yeah,
he's going to be a role player too. So
yeah, I mean, hey, if somebody wants to trade for Sexton for some assets, or if we can find a way to, I mean, I love a big wing, and KD fits that mold. So I would, especially if he can bring me a championship, I'd be all on board for it. But it would be an interesting move considering I don't know how Cleveland's going to react unless he wins a championship.
Right.
Now, do you guys think there's any teams out there that are kind of like those super teams, like what we saw in Miami and stuff, where they're bringing in all these big names anymore, or is that kind of like dying off for at least a little bit right now? Or do you think KD really has the possibility of going and building up another one of those super teams somewhere?
Oh, he's going to go somewhere and do that. Yeah. I don't think they're ever going to go away either. I think there's more superstars now than there were before. Mm-hmm. So I feel like not everyone, but there's still going to be a lot of super teams.
Yeah.
Well, sure. and I'm still not off the fact that the Warriors are a super team. They have two of the best, probably the two best shooters of all time on that team. Now, Draymond is starting to fall off, but Draymond is still very good in his days, role. Yeah, he's still very good in his role. They got some young guys that are coming up that can be very, very good for them. Like, I would still consider them to be that super team. I think a lot of people were surprised that the Warriors immediately come back after, a down year and some injuries, and they're right back in it. Like, it did not take much for them to absolutely just reload and go right back and run it back. So, all right. Anybody else got anything on the NBA?
No, I think I'm good to go, man.
All right, we're going to hop over into the NHL real quick. And finally, we can call the Colorado Avalanche the Stanley Cup champs. Thank God. I've been waiting to announce this because they were dominant all the way through. This is the team that I root for in hockey. When I started following hockey, I was living out in the West. And, man, it was this team – those Forsberg days, this reminds me exactly of that. This team is so fast. They play a little dirty, which I'm okay with, and they went out there, they got it done.
It's hockey. You got to play a little dirty. It's part of the game.
It absolutely is. Evo, we kind of talked about this, that this looked like basically a foregone conclusion that these guys were going to finally wrap this thing up. I was worried that if they didn't get it done in Game 7, that Tampa may be able to clip them in Game 6. Sorry, if they didn't get it done in Game 6, they'd get clipped in Game 7, but they were able to get it done. I know you were out, I believe, camping or hiking. So have you got to go run it back and see any of the clips or check it out yet?
I was out camping, sitting out by the lake, drinking some beers. So I didn't actually get to see it. But I mean, like I had been saying from before, I thought they were going to take it in 5. I figured the Lightning would get at least 1. For the Lightning to make it a match, I mean, that just kind of shows that they are the team that's been to the Stanley Cup the past couple of years. Obviously we're meant to be there, and they're a very good team. But this Avalanche team this year has just been so dominant that I didn't see any way that they were walking out of the Stanley Cup playoffs without the championship. So to finally see it happen, excited for them, excited for all the Colorado fans. Excited for my girl Hannah because she's just freaking out because they got another championship there in Colorado. Too bad the Rockies aren't doing too much this year.
No, that's terrible.
But yeah, that's like you said. I thought it was kind of a foregone conclusion. At least it got to be a little bit more exciting. The Lightning got to put up a couple games there. But I mean, the Avalanche are just, like I said, they're so head and shoulders above everyone else this year that I didn't see there was any way that they were not going to win the Cup.
Gabb, are you a hockey fan at all?
I mean, I try my best. I try my best. I don't really have a team. I guess my team is the Blue Jackets. I do have a Columbus Blue Jackets shirt on right now.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah, see? So, but I'm not
I couldn't tell you anybody. Person.
I couldn't tell you people on the team. I've been to like 3 games. I've been to a couple Pens games.
Okay. All right. Well, hockey is way better live. I can't watching hockey on TV is tough. Like when if I'm going to watch hockey on TV, it's going to be playoff hockey. I'm not watching regular season hockey on TV. Also, it's incredibly fucking hard to find regular season hockey on TV, but going 2 games is fantastic. I love that buildup of when you can see that fight coming. That's something that Evo and I talked about before. But man, I'm pumped. The Avs won. I was able to, catch a good portion of that last game. And there is no better trophy in all of sports than the Stanley Cup. That giant monstrosity. It screams drink beer out of me, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, that thing has been some places.
Especially Ovechkin's bed.
Yeah, I love how beat up it is. Like, you see the bottom of that thing, it is like a beer can that's just been tossed around for a while. It is so beat up, dinged up, because those hockey players know how to have a good fucking time.
Yeah, they definitely party. That's for sure.
I like the video that's out there right now. One of the guys holding up in a bar or club, you see lights and stuff flashing. He's just holding it up and slowly falls backwards into the table with it. I mean, they're having a blast. And so congrats to the Colorado Avalanche on the cup. Got themselves a ship.
All right. So I got nothing else on hockey. And I'm not sure that there is too much else to talk about in hockey. Hockey season's over. We probably won't talk about hockey too much again until, I don't know, the All-Star break of hockey or Stanley Cup playoffs, because regular season hockey is tough to watch. But if you guys have the opportunity to get out and go see a live hockey game, absolutely recommend. Yeah, Dave, $20 is $20. Absolutely recommend you going out and seeing a game. They got a little minor league team up there in Tucson where you guys are. They're fucking dog shit, but there are fights all the time. It's fun. The point of hockey games is to go have a good time, especially if you can sit by the glass, bang on the fucking glass, be a rowdy asshole, because that's what hockey players get juiced off of. Like,
have you been to one here?
I have not been to one here. The only sporting events I've been to here are some Guardians games. And then I just went and saw a Lake County Captains game Thursday
those
night.
Are fun. Those are pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a nice little ballpark for being a fucking high A baseball team.
Get some nice beers for like $1.
Yeah, so they had, I didn't get dollar beer, and I fucking wish I had. But they had $4 16-ounce Modelo's, so that was pretty nice. I enjoyed the shit out of that. We actually went out with some of the other baseball guys, so that was a good time. All right, so we got baseball, NHL, NBA. All right, we're gonna slide over into a topic that I'm super pumped to talk about, and it's gonna be college football, because there's been some massive moves in college football, and that I think are going to really increase the standings of the Big Ten. We're not going to be second rate to the SEC anymore. I think adding 2 more teams to that conference is going to really kind of vault them up. So we got USC and UCLA being added to the Big Ten starting in 2024. Now, we talked about the SEC adding teams a couple months ago with Texas and Oklahoma. Those are big schools. But one thing that I love, especially with the new NIL deals, is adding a couple California teams in a massive market to this Big Ten. Evo, how is this going to affect NIL? How is this going to affect the NCAA's position with these now massive conferences? We've talked about it in the past, man. Like, we don't need the NCAA. They are a fucking leech on these teams, on these kids, on these schools. All they do is take money, and they come out with suspensions years later when the people who committed these violations that shouldn't have been violations in the first place are already gone. Are we finally starting to work towards there's not going to be an NCAA? We just have minor league football and we call them universities?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. The NCAA definitely is a leech on the whole program, but I mean, as you're seeing these super conferences build up, it's going to make it way more exciting for the fans. It's going to make it more exciting for those conferences in general, because you're going to be seeing a lot better football. My biggest fear is that we're going to start to see all the players kind of streaming towards some of these schools, and it's going to hurt other smaller programs some. And that's one of the things I really like about college football, is that there is a lot of parity. You can have squads have a lot of lesser known players, or, you know, you get a little bit more of a spread of the talent around. But with these super conferences, it's just going to make it way more exciting if you are a fan of one of those teams, and it's going to draw a lot of more fans to those conferences in particular. And the NIL deals, I mean, who knows how this market's going to shake up with the NIL deals, because you're seeing some players getting paid more through their NIL deals than professional NFL players right now on their current contracts. You know, the rookie wage scale is keeping some of these guys getting paid pretty low in the NFL. And then you see guys coming out and getting, like, I think I saw like a $1.9 million deal or something recently, that a guy's getting NIL, which is more
that
like
was the one
Kyler Murray and
the unnamed guy, right? They won't say who the person is.
I'm not sure. But all I know is that there's a lot of money to be made now, which is going to start bringing some of these premier athletes before they're actually in their in the NFL into these conferences, and it's going to make it much more of a spectacle, much more fun to watch as a fan. Like I said, my biggest fear is obviously losing, some of the talent on those smaller teams. But at the end of the day, for college football, this is a great thing because it's going to be drawing in a lot of viewership, and it's going to be making those conferences like Big Ten just a lot more fun to watch.
Gabb, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree. So I'm not the biggest college football fan. I'll watch some games. Like if Ohio State's playing Michigan, I'm going to watch that game. It's going to be a big game. Auburn, Alabama, I'm going to watch that game, because everybody else is watching. But for the most part, for college football, a lot of the games are blowouts. Yeah, and I think bringing more teams that can compete makes it a little more interesting and more people watch. And like you said, we'll bring more fans to it. I really like it for the Big Ten because everybody always talks about the Big Ten. They say it's weak. They say no one plays in there. There's no good teams. And I think this makes it a little bit more competitive across the board for like every sport. It's going to be interesting when you throw in like basketball and baseball, like all of those. That's going to be a lot of travel.
That's a ton of travel.
That's going to be a lot of travel for these teams. But I like that they will be playing them and more people it'll reach a bigger audience. So.
Right. Well, so one of the things that the Pac-12 has struggled with is that nobody watches their fucking games because they're always on that West Coast time. They're always super late. Nobody on the East Coast can see them. Now they're going to be playing more of these East Coast teams in more. They're going to have to travel more. Absolutely. That's going to be tough on these teams to start. But they're going to get more exposure now. USC was an absolute powerhouse in the early 2000s. UCLA is a big school, but they haven't really been good at college football in quite some time, but they were a massive market. I think that having those, big market teams come into, the Midwest where we are, they're going to get more exposure. We're going to be able to have more exposure out on the West Coast. That's going to open up recruiting avenues for everybody in the Big Ten out West. Now, schools like Ohio State and Michigan,
right,
they can go anywhere. They can go anywhere and recruit. But if you are looking at an Iowa doesn't necessarily recruit all over the country. Like they're getting their best guys around them. They are a good squad, but they are not a national brand.
That's why you get all the linemen and you see them. Yeah,
exactly. Them corn-fed boys,
Midwestern big dudes out there off the farm.
Right.
That's probably the biggest benefit is that with USC and UCLA going there is that you're going to start opening up those other Big Ten schools to having bigger names come to them outside of that general Midwest area.
Right.
Which would be really interesting to see how it's going to evolve that because. Typically the Big Ten has been, because of those big corn-fed boys, it's been heavy running games and things like that, strong defenses, really, really hard-nosed defenses. So now you're going to be bringing in a little bit more star talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So are we going to see the passing game expand there for the Big Ten? And it's going to be really interesting to see how they start to compete. Because, you've had, Ohio States and Michigans and stuff like that still are able to kind of have that passing game type of offense where you're not seeing that from an Iowa, Minnesota, stuff like that. So, I'm interested to see what happens now with the Pac-12 because
did it crumble? Like what's
going to go? They are
happen?
talking about expansion as well because they're losing they're trying to add to because the Pac-12 is now down to 12 teams again. I think they were at 14.
No, perfect. They don't have to do anything.
They don't have to do anything. It drives me crazy that they didn't change the names of these conferences, but
they'll be down to 10 now.
Oh, they are down to 10 now.
Yeah.
So the Big Ten.
Then swap names. We'll keeping that name. Yeah.
I'm not. No, I'm not fucking being the Pac-12. That's not happening. I don't want to be the Big 12 or the 14. We're at 16 now. I think with those two added in 2024. Now, one big thing that I think everybody's kind of waiting for. Like I am a massive college football fan. One big thing that is going to happen at some point that I think is going to kind of signal that, hey, we are no longer being run. We're not going to be governed by the NCAA. because at some point that is coming, especially because these conferences can kind of have a little bit of their own, they can run themselves, is when Notre Dame joins a conference.
They're never going to do it, I don't think.
I think at some point they're going to have to.
Maybe forced, yes, but they're just they annoy me.
I agree. They annoy me as well. But if we have all these massive conferences, right? Now we're talking about building a playoff, right? We have 4 teams. Mm-hmm. Hopefully at some point that gets expanded to 6 or 8.
Right. They should expand.
They absolutely should expand. If Notre Dame doesn't get in a conference, they may not be able to get a top 4 seed, or they're just not going to.
Right.
Notre Dame's always going to pull in money. They have their own contract with NBC. That's not going to be a problem for Notre Dame. But if it comes to trying to compete and win championships, something that Notre Dame has not done in a very long fucking time, something that they were absolutely known for in the early days of football, like when football really started becoming popular, they're going to probably have to hop into one of these conferences. There's no way to continue to just – Notre Dame is not a big enough brand to just be Notre Dame at this point when you have 2 super conferences with 16 teams.
Right. See, now it gets to how you were saying, is it going to be like a mini NFL? Because then you're going to have just 2 conferences basically like you do in the NFL, and they're going to pick all those teams for a playoff.
Yeah, with the building up of these massive conferences, you're going to be like, okay, well, the 2 best teams from the SEC and the 2 best teams from the Big Ten are very clearly the 4 best teams in the country because they have played the most competition. And that absolutely tosses aside all these other conferences, which, we don't want to happen. But let's face it, the NCAA is about their money. If you have these massive conferences, who is everybody watching? They're watching
no
the
one cares
SEC
about the ACC.
Unless you're Clemson. And you're fucking Dabo Sweeney doing some dumbass TikTok dance. Like nobody cares. Like we're not watching. So it's going to affect the playoff by these massive conferences. Like, and this is I think this is the start of a massive shift. NIL was that first pin that dropped, and now these building of super conferences. We are heading towards a place where these student athletes can get fucking paid, be on TV, and we're not going to have the NCAA.
You're not going to be suspended for some tattoos.
You're not going to be suspended for tattoos. You're not kids that were not even in the program when Reggie Bush took some impermissible benefits are not going to lose scholarships. So I'm all for this. Like, abolish the NCAA. Hashtag abolish the NCAA. Let's make that trend, because I'm all for this, and I'm done with the NCAA.
We're going to need some sort of a regulatory body to merge these conferences together for that college football playoff. I would like to see it just not be the NCAA, not involved. But at the end of the day, you're going to have greedy old white men wanting to get their money. They're going to find a way to whatever. If it were to move away from the NCAA, it's just going to be NCAA 2.0 at the end of the day. That's the way it's going to go. I would just like to see a little bit better handling of the players and looking out for them rather than just having to be a for-profit sort of thing. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So that's all I had on NCAA football, and I'm super juiced for it because Ohio State is going to beat the piss out of USC and UCLA, no problem. Hashtag abolish the NCAA. There you go, $20. Appreciate you. Guys, anybody joining us, if you guys like watching any kind of gaming, go check out $20 is $20. He's on Twitch. He streams Eva. What the fuck is the game called?
Call of Duty Warzone.
This is Call of Duty Warzone. He's badass. I've tried to play with him. He carries me through. I end up inevitably dying and probably really ruining the team. But if you guys enjoy that kind of stuff, go ahead and check out $20 is $20. And since we're doing a little bit of promotion for him, let's do a little bit of self-promotion here as well. Guys, you can check us out on Twitter at the Lineman Lounge, Facebook group. What else we got? We got TikTok, Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking suck at TikTok and Instagram. I'm not good at putting content on those things. I'm getting much better at the Twitter machine. Facebook dominates most of our content. We get a lot of action on there. And if you guys are interested, you guys are golf players, we have a giveaway going on right now. So if you go onto YouTube, you take a screenshot of any one of our shows, including this one or I believe next week's, you'll get entered to win a set of spots to join myself and producer Amber, who's my lovely wife, and go play some Top Golf at First Energy Stadium.
Oh, nice.
So we got the tickets for our anniversary. That's going to be on July 30th. And we had to buy the entire bay. The entire bay fits 6. We didn't want to go with just 2. So we decided, you know what? Let's give away those other 4 spots. So if you guys like playing some Top Golf, go ahead, take a screenshot, post the screenshot to Facebook or Twitter with the hashtag Lounge Birdies, and that will get you entered to win to come join us for some Top Golf at First Energy Stadium.
And we'll definitely do this again. But Gabb, where can everyone find you and your content?
You can find me at Gabb Goudy, GABBGOUDY on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can also find me on FanDuel. I'm just search them anywhere, and I'll probably be there at some capacity. And then every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I have a show called Unsportsmanlike Conduct where we just talk shit. And yeah, that's it.
Which is mostly what we do here. We talk a lot of shit too.
Absolutely.
All right, question here from old Vanilla Gorilla Dave Weideman. $20 is $20. Is airfare provided if you win?
It absolutely is not. Dave, I don't got it like that no more. And I don't make any money doing this. So you're going to have to buy your own plane ticket. But I do have a place for you to sleep. It's right next to me, Big Papa.
Ooh. See, that's one of the biggest benefits of the whole thing.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. So that takes care of some college football. So we got a couple of small stories. You guys want to dive into golf, or are we ready to just hit the NFL right now?
I mean, we can quick pass over golf because I think it's going to be a quick one. Something that we've kind of talked about recently is the Live League that has opened up, and the stream of players that are all jumping over there because they're getting these big contracts. And we started saying it from the get-go. PGA Tour needs to do something to try to keep their big names there, and they recently did that. They are talking about a small, I don't even remember, is it
the 8 tournament?
Yeah,
8 tournament.
Yeah, 8 tournaments, big cash payouts and stuff for this. They're trying to do something, but it's too little, too late, and it's 100%. Not enough really to begin with to try to keep players staying with the PGA. Really going. Yeah, you're having guys jump left and right. One of my favorite players. He's not John Daly, but Pat Perez. He's close. Here from Arizona. He just jumped over. That boy's all about the money, and so he doesn't really give a fuck what anyone thinks about him. So he just jumped over to Live. I mean, we're seeing tons of people go over there, and the more that you're starting to hear people talk about it, it makes sense. They're having to play less. They're getting paid more. They're being able to be with their families more often and stuff like that. Say what you will about where the money's coming from, but from a purely financial standpoint, I mean,
right, you're going to go for the money.
Yeah, you got to make the move. When it comes to sports, you don't know how long your playing career is going to be.
Exactly.
Although golf, I mean, you can play well into your 50s and 60s and stuff like that. But I mean, if you have some sort of a crazy injury, you have a Tiger Woods situation where now you can't play anymore. All of a sudden, the money chain is cut off. So go out and make your bags while you can, and the way that they have that set up in Live is interesting. It's more fun to watch on TV than traditional golf.
Right.
Yeah. So we talked about this, that they had to do something, and they're trying to do it now, but that also kind of tells me that they could have probably done this all along, but they didn't have to because Live wasn't there. And the guys who are fighting for a legacy are probably not jumping to Live, but you only have about 20, 30 guys who are probably fighting for a legacy to be number 1 golfer in the world. Everybody else is going to be like, listen, man, I play golf and I get fucking paid. I can get paid way more over there and not golf as much. Like, they're going to make the jump. I don't think this is enough to keep guys there. And I think it's too little too late. Like you said, Evo, there's going to be a bunch of guys who are just making that jump. And some of their biggest names, maybe not their best golfers, but they're the guys that sell, like Brooks Koepka a Bryson DeChambeau. They're live golfers now.
A lot of the youth that is, I mean, over COVID, golf had kind of a boom because it was one of the sports that people could still watch. It's one of the sports that people could still do. And you're able to watch people playing golf on TV, and then you can go out on the weekend and play yourself. So over COVID, it really had that explosion. And you had some of those bigger, younger names like a Koepka, like a Bryson DeChambeau, that, you know, DeChambeau, people like to see the long ball, and that's what DeChambeau does. I mean, he just swings hard. So it drew in that younger fan base and brought a lot more people to golf. And PGA could have really blown up with that if they had really leaned into it and started more of a youth movement to get people involved in the sport. Live came in and did what the PGA Tour should have been doing all along. And now you got all those players that the younger generation, the new golf generation, want to see play, and they're all moving over to the Live Tour. And it's just, yeah, I mean, good for PGA trying to do something, but it's too little too late. You're still not getting the same sort of money that you would if you were to go play Live in just one season. So it'll be interesting. I mean, as more and more players continue to leave, even after these announcements, I don't know what PGA Tour is going to do, because I don't. Can they come out and be like, okay, no, now we're going to do this as well and this as well? Like, it's just going to seem like they're groveling at this point.
So one thing I did see is that there is a potential that live golfers will be shut out of the Ryder Cup. That may affect some guys just because, I mean, that's a really cool, fun tournament. But, I mean, when you're talking about 10,
Live's just going to put on their own thing.
$20 million.
Live will just put on their own thing. They're just going to do their own version of the Ryder Cup. Yeah. Because Ryder Cup is awesome. It is cool to have that kind of national team spirit and stuff like that. But if all these good players are going over there, the Ryder Cup is just going to lose its appeal. When you Live is going to do something to have their own version of the Ryder Cup if all those players get shut out. They've just been too smart with how they market it, too smart with how they set up their tournaments. They'll jump on and they'll do their own version of the Ryder Cup.
All right. Gabb, you got anything on the PGA Live? No?
Do you golf much?
Top Golf. I go to Top Golf.
Hey, well, if you take a screenshot of the show,
right, and then I'll see that first.
All right. So we're gonna head over. Actually, we'll do this real quick because I didn't know this was happening. UFC 276 is happening tonight, and it's a massive card. I'm surprised I didn't know about this. Israel Adesanya is on a title fight against Jared Cannonier. We got Alexander Volkanovski taking on Max Holloway for the third time in a title fight. Robbie Lawler is fighting tonight. And Sean O'Malley, the most exciting guy in fucking UFC, is fighting tonight as well.
How did I miss this?
I don't know how I missed it either. Now that I know it's happening, I got to make sure I fucking take a nap and stay awake for this.
Stay up for it, yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't start till 10 o'clock out here on the East Coast. It's miserable that it's that late.
It starts at 10 o'clock, but like when you say it starts at 10 o'clock, it starts at like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's when the title fights are really going to go. I'm excited to see Sean O'Malley. I'm ready for him to get done with his contract so he can fight some guys that are actually in his fucking competition level. I mean, he knocks out everybody he fucking fights. So I'm excited to see Sean go out. Give me one round where he treats another guy's face like a punching bag, and then we can move on to some of these other fights. I'm ready to watch two champions go down tonight. I'm about done with Volkanovski, and I'm done with Israel Adesanya. I get it. They're really good. Their fights are not as entertaining as I think a lot of people think, because there's just so much. There is action for 30 seconds, 40 seconds in a round. And then it's a lot of Israel Adesanya moving around, Volkanovski moving around. They get in, they get out. And I mean, that I want to see some dudes throw. I think Max Holloway has what it takes to beat Volkanovski. I don't know that Cannonier can knock off Adesanya, but I think Max Holloway can get his title back.
I love Izzy. I don't think there's any way Cannonier is gonna be able to step toe with Izzy. That Volkanovski Max Holloway fight is going to be a very interesting one, because I think Volkanovski is got to be the heavy favorite here, but I really like Max Holloway. He's a grinder. That'll be an interesting one. I would really like to see Max be able to pull that one out.
Yeah, well, and Volkanovski has won 2 somewhat controversial decisions. Nobody's been finished in those fights. I want to see Max finish it tonight. Like, I want to see Volkanovski just go out. Like, I want to see somebody starched other than what is going to happen in that first fight. Like, I know Sean O'Malley is going to starch somebody. That you can almost guarantee that. Pedro Munoz is not a bad fighter, but Sean O'Malley's a stud. Like,
yeah. But
I want to see knockouts. I want to see some excitement tonight. Because if I got to stay up till fucking 10 and 100% pay for UFC like I always do.
We always pay for our pay-per-view.
Always pay for our pay-per-view. Gabb is not going to do that because she works for a reputable company. She's not getting in on the joke.
No, I get it. I got it. I got it. I, however, see, the thing with me, though, I can't watch fights. I can't watch them.
Really?
I hate seeing people get punched in the face. Well, like, if it's a baseball fight, sure, that's kind of sick. But just, like, beating each other up and then, like, I hate blood and I get so sick. And, like, someone's leg could snap.
Yeah.
That is very true.
You see that every now and then.
Right. So I'm just like, oh, no. I can't do it. I've tried.
It's something very primal for me, I guess, as a dude that liking to see two guys just put it all out on the line in the octagon. It does get pretty gruesome at times for sure.
It does.
I get not wanting to watch it though.
Like I watched the Jake Paul boxing thing in Cleveland live. Like that's the extent of me watching a fight.
All right. So Gabb, you brought up something and that, we haven't really got into too much is, you've joined us and it's been fantastic having you here, but we have not really got into any questions, too much about you and kind of what you do in sports media. And I just kind of want to get, how is being, a woman in sports media? I don't know if you get this question a lot or if it's an inappropriate question, but I see people come at you on Twitter. I see people come at other other females on Twitter. Like this is sports. You don't belong here. And like, how do you deal with those kinds of things when those things come at you?
Well, like one, the men that are like, it's everybody. It's just not like a men issue. Like there's people that are mean no matter who they are on the internet. And a lot of it comes because they got a lot of shit going on in their own lives that they don't know where to take it out on. Like maybe, hey, therapy, but that is kind of expensive. So let's try the internet and let's try being mean to people for free and see if it fixes it. It really doesn't. It just makes people more miserable and they'll continually do it because they are not happy with what's going on with them. So I don't really take things people say on the internet that personally because, like what made you that mad today that you had to say that,
Right. Absolutely.
It's still gotta be tough sometimes. Do you regularly read your comments and stuff like that?
Oh, I read them every day. I read them every day. I read it every single day.
It doesn't matter who you are. If you are popular, if you got a lot of followers, it seems like it's just nothing but toxicity.
Yeah, someone is always
and the toxic stuff always seems to shine through. You might have 100 good comments or something like that,
and you
but
see that
even those one or two bad ones really can get under your skin. So it's got to be crazy to be kind of in that spotlight and dealing with all that bullshit. And like you said, people like to just get behind a keyboard or get behind their phone screen.
Say whatever.
And they're like, I can say whatever I want here, and there's no consequences.
No consequences, right?
But they wouldn't say that to your face in real life.
I don't know. I had one man do that once, and it was kind of scary. Yeah. I had a man.
Wow.
And he said something to me yesterday too. I was like, no way, he's still talking. I was walking home from a Guardians game and like I was walking by myself, which not very safe, but I didn't have anybody. I went by myself and it was like 10 o'clock because the game went a little late. And some man, I turn around, he says my name. I'm looking, I don't see anybody. Turn around again. This guy's like walking behind me. He's like, fuck you. I hate you, you stupid bitch. I was like, Jesus. And before I could say anything, he just ran away.
Jesus. Of course he fucking ran like a little bitch.
I was like, are you okay?
He's a little grenade at you.
Ran across the street and I was like, are you fucking serious right now? Like one, you should never go up to someone in public at night and do that. Like that's weird. That's scary. Yeah. But if he really wanted to say it to my face, he would have had to been on a step stool because I was like towering over him with my tall height of 5'3". He was smaller than me. I could have beat him up.
So he had a little guy syndrome.
Right, like he had a lot going on besides just being unhappy that day.
Maybe it's like that little kid thing where it's like, on the playground or something like that. Boys used to beat up on girls, but it's like actually they like them. They're just like, hey, pay attention to me. I want your attention.
Yeah.
So this is the kid who never grew out of middle school where he's picking on the girl.
Well, his height obviously never grew.
Well, obviously, he didn't grow since middle school.
He didn't grow, so that might be why he was upset. But yeah, and then he started saying some stuff yesterday, and I was like, man, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you are a scary guy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and you went from one probably male dominated. I have no idea. I'm not a chemist, but you went from one male dominated field to another one here in sports, and I mean, you've made the transition seamlessly. It seems like you handle it well. I mean, obviously you have a massive following as you should. You are fantastic at what you do. So, and I have 2 young girls, so being able to have you on and be like, hey, you know what?
Right.
You guys can do whatever you want. These girls can do fucking anything boys can do. And it's fantastic. So I appreciate you being on, and I wanted to make sure that we got to talk a little bit about you. I kind of hopped right in. I was excited for today's show. So
yeah, and I know this isn't super sports related, but I'm really interested in how you made that jump. Like, how'd you get into working with FanDuel? How'd you get into like kind of the bigger sports scene?
So like I've played sports my whole life. I played softball, I played t-ball growing up, played basketball, did some cheerleading, some competition cheerleading, ran cross country, did it all. I was out there doing it all. And I went to sporting events with my dad my entire life. We would go to baseball games right down the street here all the time. And it's just been a part of me. And I was a crazy Cavs fan, like legit psychopath when they had their 4 finals trips. Went to school for biochemistry, started working in a lab after in Pittsburgh, lived in Pittsburgh as a Browns fan. That was kind of crazy. But I worked in a lab, and it was kind of really boring. It was really boring. It was like I didn't talk to anybody I worked with there. It was just all like old men that we had nothing in common. So I'd go home and I would like post stuff about sports on Twitter and like TikTok just for fun, because it was just like a little outside the work, just doing it for fun. I went to the Browns, Orange and Brown scrimmage, Odell's first like time in uniform, took a photo of him, said things I'll never get tired of seeing. He retweeted it. I got like a bunch of people to follow me just from that one. I was like, oh my God, that was awesome. My friends were like, you say funny stuff about sports, maybe just like post more. Started doing that. People started following, and then companies started reaching out. They're like, have you ever thought about doing this for a job? And I was like, no, not really. I literally work in a lab every single day. I've never thought about doing this as a job. Set up some phone calls, did some part-time stuff, and then eventually FanDuel asked me if I wanted to be with them like a full-time job, and I said, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way,
yeah, for sure.
If FanDuel is hiring, I'm very willing to quit my job.
Right, like everybody just pack your bags.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, I mean, I would prefer to stay here, but I mean, if FanDuel comes crawling, we'll move again. Fuck it, like. That's awesome. I had no idea.
Awesome. It's nice too that you didn't like, was it scary to jump from like one known commodity type of job where you got that paycheck into another realm that you really hadn't been a part of?
Yeah, it was kind of, because it's like different though, like how I'm doing a lot of stuff I'm doing, because I work with a bunch of different companies now. I have an agent too. Oh, wow. They'll like talk to them, do deals, do fancy posts. It's like it's wild. Like it's actually really freaking wild. Like it's crazy. I don't leave my apartment. I work in my apartment. That's kind of cool. Sometimes it's a little lonely, but it's been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you also get to fly out to Vegas for events and go to all these sporting games, stuff like that. So, I mean, the pros and cons.
Yeah, there's a lot of pros.
I'm incredibly envious of what you get to do. I also have a job where I don't really get to talk to anybody all day. So, yeah, I completely understand, and that is awesome. Congratulations on all your success, continued success, hopefully.
Yeah, and, but we're hoping so.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Now that we've kind of taken care of that, since I skipped over it earlier, and we've done some self-promotion, let's hop into kind of our bread and butter. Let's hop into some football.
Oh, I thought we were getting into Nathan's hot dog eating contest question here
Oh!
from $20. Is Joey Chestnut going to win?
Yes, he is. 100%.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Joey Chestnut.
Have you?
Yeah, I went at a Ravens-Browns tailgate. I have a TikTok that we're going to post in a few days, maybe tomorrow. And the question was, we asked Joey Chestnut this first. We're like, can you eat more hot dogs than Baker Mayfield will throw for yards this game? And he said yes.
Oh.
Well, it depends on the game.
It wasn't the Carolina game, was it? Or who were we playing in the rain? Was it the Raiders? The Raider game?
No.
He threw for like 60.
This was the Lamar 4-pick game that we lost.
Oof.
Right. So that's
of course.
Right. So it wasn't very good. He threw for more yards than hot dogs, but
not by a lot.
Not by much.
Not by a lot. Yeah, Joey's absolutely going to win. My projection for this year is going to be 69. Going with 69 hot dogs.
Wonder where you picked that number from.
Yeah.
All right. So jumping straight into football from that.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to dive over into the world of football. And we're going to start out a story that we talked about before, and we're going to have to start with some sad news. So results have come back on, I guess, an autopsy for Jalen Ferguson. And he died from combined effects of fentanyl and cocaine. When this story kind of broke, and we talked about it last week, we talked about how losing a life at any point, especially this young, is tragic. When it comes with drug use and accidental overdose, it is beyond sad. And I don't know if there's any words that you can put out there that can make anybody feel any better about this. Now, the NFL is a tough place. There are a lot of injuries. We have seen guys in Major League Baseball, like Tyler Skaggs, who are turning to, prescription drugs and things like that to deal with pain. Now, I don't know Jalen Ferguson. I don't know anything about him or why these things were in his system, but it's just I'm so tired of seeing these stories where it's some sort of drug use that is a little out of hand, and then you insert fentanyl in that equation, and it's got to stop. I don't know how to combat that. I mean, I just moved from Arizona. Evo, you're still down there. We were seeing stories of hundreds, thousands of pounds of fentanyl coming across the border, and it's tragic because this shit is not a joke. It will absolutely fucking kill you. And we have now lost another young, talented life due to that.
Yeah, that's, we're not political correspondents. We're not smart in the drug field or anything like that. It sucks because, if people are going to do drugs, they're going to do drugs at the end of the day. Part of me, I obviously feel bad that the kid died, but I'm also cut from the cloth of kind of you are setting your own path if you're doing that sort of stuff. And these are one of the unfortunate consequences that can come from it. As far as a nation and a government, we've had marijuana kind of sweepingly being legalized across the country as it should be. One of the
legalizing, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. But one of the options that has kind of been thrown out there is legalization of most drugs in general, because then they can at least be regulated a little bit more. Obviously big government wants to get their hands on it and find a way to make money from it. But if you have safer sources for these things to come from, where they can be tested for things like fentanyl, which, just such a tiny amount can drop a person dead. You're going to obviously have issues with drugs regardless of what we do. But if you're able to offer up different government programs for people to get clean, get healthy and stuff like that, take all that money from the drug war and put it into helping people, and on also making sure that these drugs are better regulated, that they are cleaner, more pure, not tainted with things like fentanyl. Maybe we can start to see a reduction in deaths and start seeing an increase in people finding help that they need. Because typically you aren't going to be taking drugs unless you've got some sort of a problem in your life that, that you're trying to cover up. I mean, people do it with alcohol. They do it with drugs. They do it with any number of sorts of vices. They want to find a way to escape and take away a little bit of the pain or have a little bit of fun. And if we're able to kind of shift our thought in this country from just drugs bad to drugs are there, they're not going away. Let's try to make this a safer environment for everybody. Maybe that's the answer. And like I said, I don't know. It sucks to see players, anyone so young in their life, have their life be taken away from. It's just it's kind of a shame that this sort of thing is still happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry to step in. I put my fucking foot in my mouth. Marijuana, good. Most drugs probably not bad as long as they're regulated. Fentanyl has got to go, so we got to find a way to do that. Gabb, go ahead.
It just makes me, it's just terrible. It's really sad. And one of the saddest parts about it is there's other players in the league that see this happening and they think about it and they're like, oh, that's really bad. That sucks. But they're going to continue to do those activities also. And they're never going, I just don't think you're ever going to see anybody stop doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said.
You have so many type A personalities in
Right.
professional sports where it's like, I'm better than the guy next to me.
Mm-hmm.
So they might see this and be like, I'm better than him. Not in always
Right.
or whatever, but it'll be like, I'm
invincible. It's never
that.
never gonna happen to me. Yeah. And that sucks because like over the last year, we've had so many traumatic deaths and experiences with players in the league. So, and nothing seems to phase any of them that happens to next.
No, I mean, I remember being a young man. I played football in college. Thought I was invincible. Right. I was not even fucking close. And these guys are far superior athletes than I am, but that's not the way life works. And like when we hear these stories, my thought is always when you are one of these top tier professional athletes. Now I understand it's off season. Maybe you're partying and something happens.
Yeah.
I always think about and worry about like, how are players taking care of their bodies? How are they mending? How are they dealing with pain? As somebody who deals with pain all the time because of my time in the Army, like, it would be super cool being able to maybe smoke weed or take something that's not
Right.
a narcotic or something that's going to destroy my liver, my fucking insides. And so I always like, man, like there's got to be something that we could do. I don't know the entire background, and I don't want to even remotely try to speak for Jalen Ferguson or his family, but these things are they're awful to hear because it's incredibly sad. Like talented young man who had a ton of life ahead of him.
I mean, we should be at least thankful that we are in a country where we are seeing a lot more progressive views on this sort of thing. We're not a communist Russia where Brittany Griner goes in with a CBD pen and is now looking at 10 years.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. Look, like you said, we've done sports. Mike and I, prior military, we have long rap sheets of injuries, and finding some way to take away or take the edge off of the pain is definitely helpful. I guess I can't speak on it because I've never done the cocaine, but I don't know that takes away the pain, but it probably makes your day a little bit better while you're taking it. I don't know. But I mean, we got to find ways to support people who are in that pain and
Right.
are looking for help.
It doesn't help when you have like the medical staff and the team providing them with a lot of things as well.
Yeah, like narcotic painkillers, and then how you get off of narcotic painkillers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking for something else that is going to provide that type of feeling.
Just to have your body ready to play
Perform.
for millions of dollars. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So now that we're off of that, we're going to switch to a topic that we kind of
another one.
we brushed over this one last week because we were about tired of talking about it because
it needs to be over with.
Yeah, it needs to be over with. Nobody knows what the fuck's happening, but everybody likes to talk about it and guess. And it's the Deshaun Watson hearing. So Deshaun Watson, his hearing is now finally over. We still have not heard a ruling on what is going to happen. Now, Gabb, you are new, and thank you for joining us. But we said probably about, a month ago, Evo, 3 weeks ago, that this looks like the way things are going and the PR nightmare that it is, that the NFL is going to push for that 1 year ban. I still think that they are pushing for that 1 year ban.
Mm-hmm.
And is that fair? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what side of the fence you are on certain things. And now that it finally is over, and we should be hearing a ruling, I'm hoping within the next week or two. I don't know if it's
I think
coming
a lot of
or
people
not,
are going to be unhappy with what the ruling is going to be.
It doesn't matter what the ruling is. There's going to be
people unhappy.
50% is going to be unhappy.
Yeah, but I think what's about to happen, there's going to be a lot of, I almost pulled my headphones out. I don't think it's going to be that big of a suspension at all, what everybody's been saying.
Really?
I've seen some weird stuff in the past couple days. So they've got that arbitrator who is overseeing this whole hearing, and that stuff coming out is saying that the NFL is pushing for that year-long suspension, and that Deshaun's side is pushing for the 6 to 8 game, and that they aren't able to meet right now. It's still on the arbitrator, though, to make that decision, I guess. So it could end up being lower than that year. I mean, it could end up being more than a year, whatever that arbitrator decides. And I believe that the hearings are now over, and they have to come back on the 14th, I believe, July 14th, with like not closing arguments, but providing extra documentation and stuff like that to the arbitrator, so that way she can finally make a decision.
They've said, so there's been leaks, there's been more leaks over the past couple days, like you said, but in like the last day, they've been saying, people, I don't know how true these people are saying, very high profile sources have been saying that the NFL finds zero to little evidence against any force use from Deshaun Watson. So that's looking like that. I don't know that she could come out and say no games, and that'd be wild. That'd be wild. That'd be a wild day on the internet.
I don't even want to.
Right,
know what would happen.
I don't want to be a part of Brown's Twitter if it comes out with 0 games.
Right.
Because
I'm scared for, honestly, if it's 0 games, low-key scared for all the women in the fan base, because that has nothing to do with,
I think they'll be attacked.
It has nothing to do with, we already have been, the amount of DMs we get, asking me, I'm like, why are you asking me? I make the decision. It's not going to be good. It's definitely not going to be good. Yeah. But it's looking like it's going to be not very many games. And if that's the case, it's going to be crazy.
Mike and I have really felt, as things have progressed in the way this is just becoming such a PR nightmare for the NFL and the Browns organization, that they would find a way, one way or the other, to suspend them at least a year. We keep on talking, it's 4 games, 6 to 8 games, maybe 12. Now we're at a year, maybe more. And then with these most recent reports, it's kind of like, well, maybe not. This might end up being a slap on the wrist, and I don't want to see that. Talking purely sports, that really sucks for the Browns to lose someone for a year,
for sure. But being a
generally moral human being.
Sorry, I'll say it.
You just gotta do something, man. Because the NFL in total is not very welcoming to women. And they talk about being diverse. You talk about bringing in all these different people. You're talking about more women working in your field, and then you do that. That's a bad look. And you just had MLB with Trevor Bauer.
2 years.
And then you're going to come down
with less than a season.
Yeah, that'd be a bad look.
That's not going to fly. And Roger Goodell is really good, for the most part, about putting on a good face. He had the Ray Rice situation where it wasn't enough, right? I don't think he's ever going to let that happen again, where it is Roger is not doing enough to protect the shield, which is what started making me lean towards, okay, this thing's going to be a year if they're not pushing for indefinite. But Roger doesn't have that final say anymore.
Yeah, so that's why I'm a little nervous, because he can't overstep someone he just put in that position. That's bad precedent that he just set.
He can appeal, but he cannot just change. He cannot just do whatever the hell he wants anymore.
Right.
So now, this whole Deshaun thing, I've seen people saying that he should not get any games because of what happened with the owners. Listen, I get it. that the owners have done some heinous shit. Specifically Dan Snyder, who has, I think, finally been subpoenaed to go to fucking Congress. I think he has also told them to fuck off.
He did. Yeah.
Like, it's not fair that the owners got less punishment than the player is going to get, or, I mean, potentially get. But like, there has to be some sort of suspension. There is a small precedent here with Big Ben, right? The allegations, nothing happened, no criminal charges, and like he gets 6 games reduced down to 4. There is somewhat of a precedent, but not to this magnitude. I think the NFL is, if they don't get at least half the season, they may have to appeal just to appease fan bases, just to appease the women fan base that they do have. Because if they just let this guy go, if the arbitrator says no games because you brought no evidence, they have to come back with something. I don't know how any way that this can go. The announcement of what the suspension is going to be is just going to be the beginning of this saga after we have found out all the details of, what has happened.
So I've got a question, at least that's a little bit interesting to me. And so, Gabby, I like to play devil's advocate with most things, just in general in life, to make sure that I'm trying to see things from all points and perspectives and different viewpoints. So if, let's say, I'll say me, I were to go and do something stupid and get in trouble out in the town, how would I feel if that were to affect my job, if someone were to come and take time away from my job? Same sort of thing with this. He didn't do something in the NFL. Do we think it's right for people to be coming after someone's job for some sort of conduct off the field? This isn't just for Deshaun Watson, but in general in the NFL. And I've got good arguments against myself here, but do we think that it's right for people to be having their work affected by stuff that happened outside of their workplace that actually has brought no legal repercussions against them yet?
Really quick, sorry, I got distracted because Ernie Clement just gave up 2 home runs and I don't know why he's pitching.
Nice.
Well, if Ernie Clement is in, I'm definitely not turning on the game after we're done with this.
He just gave him back. Anyways, I mean, to some extent, I guess. It just really depends on what it is. Maybe.
So for me, the public forum is where that becomes tough. Like, if you are out there in the public with the reach that these guys do have, I mean, the NFL is a PR business. It really is. Like, you're selling your product. And your product is the players. If people won't buy into the players, your product is shit. That's why all these other little leagues are shit or defunct. Nobody watches them because they're not any good. Well, we have good players, but maybe they're kind of shitty. And that's where I think that you can, that's why it's written into that league policy, the protection of the shield and all that stuff. Now, for you, me, like the common folk, probably not. Right. But at the same time, if in our old job or my old job, your current job, if we go out, we do something stupid where we are drinking and driving, I mean, you're going to lose your job because you're going to lose qualifications.
Yeah, we're going to lose qualifications, security clearances, stuff like that. And that's the thing. Like I said, I can sit here and make arguments against myself even asking that question. I don't like when things from outside sources affect something else in general. But for me in the NFL, that's not the case, because these players and this sport transcends kind of a job, right? It's like you said, it's a PR business. All three of us probably have a sports hero. Some of these players are sports heroes to kids, to adults, right? We look up to them as moral authorities and figures in our lives, people that we aspire to be like. And when you do something that takes so far away from that and tarnishes what could be a really good thing in people's lives and society, there's deservedly going to be consequences. And that's like I said, I like to sit here and argue with myself on these things because, like I said, if not that I would ever have sexual assault allegations and stuff put against me, because I ain't going to see that many masseuses. I'm not even going to see one right now, though I could definitely go for a massage. I ain't gonna. I don't think I can get
into happy baby pose. So
yeah, I don't know if my back will allow me to stretch that far, but if I were to do that, like I don't know how I'd feel about it affecting my workplace, but also I would be pretty disappointed in myself in general. Yeah. But I mean, for this to be happening on such a large stage, and if there's no repercussions, it's
just another day in the NFL at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think what sort of stuff probably was happening in the past before the age of the internet and before all this stuff was going on. But yeah, I'm not a Cleveland sports fan. I'm a Browns fan because I really like the direction that their team was going. I love the coach. I love doing the podcast with Mike and help and support and root for his team. So I don't look forward to any suspension. But in this case, I mean, I kind of have to. It like at this point, I feel like a year is easily justified. More is probably easily justified.
For sure.
It's just a really tough, weird situation, and
it's just very Cleveland.
I'm kind of dreading to see what this.
You give
it's just a massive Cleveland,
massive contract, biggest ever, most guaranteed money ever, and the guy you trade for is going to be suspended, and it's going to set you back a year.
Yeah, imagine like saying, "Hey, the Cleveland Browns finally have a franchise quarterback. Like they have a legit I could argue top 5 quarterback." And then you say, "Well, how did you get him?" And that's where it gets to very Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I used to this is bad. It's not bad because in the time it wasn't bad. When the Browns in 2020, this is before all of the Deshaun Watson, like before all the Deshaun Watson stuff, like all the cases, I would tweet at the Browns to trade for Deshaun Watson.
Oh, nice.
And then guess what they fucking did? Yeah. They listened 2 years later. Man,
at least it's a little bit of departure from like the Browns just like drafting really bad and having bad coaching and stuff like that. I mean, It's not a Tim Couch, it's not a Courtney Brown, it's not a Corey Coleman, a Brady Quinn, a Johnny Manziel, Trent Richardson.
Thank you. Just
Justin
keep
Gilbert.
rattling off the names. This is very fun.
You can say them all, but like,
yeah, this is very fun.
It sucks because like, can you celebrate your team's success? Because there's so many players on that team that I love to root for. You know, they're awesome guys, and then you have someone who is an awesome player but a terrible person, and just really. It's a really difficult situation to be in as a fan.
That's a tough spot.
It will be an awkward situation to be in if he does end up playing and you guys within the next 3 years get a Super Bowl.
Like, I mean, like as a Browns fan, I would love a Super Bowl, but is that worth it? Like that it like sucks so bad that you can't have anything like this just normal.
We talked about it earlier with, I believe it was basketball. It's like, are we willing to leverage our future to get a championship? Hell yeah. In this case, I don't know.
Am I willing to sell my soul for a Super Bowl?
I've never seen one.
I've never seen one either. I'm sure it's awesome.
Yeah, that's what.
I'm sure it's awesome, but man, it's a tough sell. Listen, I want us to be good. I'm never going to stop rooting for the Browns. Like when he eventually gets on the field, I'm going to want to win. But I want to win every fucking game that he's out there. But right now,
that's the point of your franchise. Why would you want a team that loses?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you?
That's right now, I can't be like, let's go team Deshaun. Like I haven't even seen him fucking play. I haven't seen him play in 2 years.
Yeah, that's like my thing with the coaches too. And I guess I get why they did it, you know, because their job is at jeopardy too if the team continues to be bad. So why not try to make it better, but better at what cost?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we had a ton of comments come in while we were off on Deshaun. So our boy Torres, ¿Cómo están? Good dude. And then Facebook user once again, I don't know who you are. We love you. Thanks for hopping in. But if you don't give StreamYard the rights to show your name, you're going to show up as Facebook user. So I'm going to leave that there. And then Torres again, hopping in on another platform. This guy's all over the place. Anybody speak fluent Spanish? Because I don't know what que onde hombres grosos means.
I only know how to order dos tacos and not a whole lot more.
Necesito cerveza. Donde está el baño? And tengo el gato en mis pantalones. That's it. That's what I got.
Yeah, I don't got much either.
All right. We also had someone commenting about Trevor Bauer. No criminal charges or paying off 20 civil lawsuits.
Yeah, very Cleveland. It's a very Cleveland issue, apparently.
Yeah, very Cleveland.
And I believe we are still have someone thinking that he should get 2 years, maybe.
No. I mean, 2 years is too much. Listen, there's been a lot of things that have happened in the NFL. Like indefinite suspensions are a year suspension, essentially. There's very few guys that get an indefinite suspension that don't get back in the league. I mean, Josh Gordon has been indefinitely suspended like three fucking times. For no reason.
There's a reason, but like.
Well, he broke the rules, but the rules were fucking dumb.
The rules were dumb.
But we have the only guy I can think of who got an indefinite suspension who never came back. Was it Justin Blackmon, wide receiver for the Jags? He had I want to say substance abuse suspension, indefinite, and then never reapplied to get back into the league. That's really the only guy.
4 times for alcohol and drugs throughout 4 years after his suspension. So seems like he just never got back on the right path. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the only guy I can think of who had an indefinite suspension and never got back in. I mean, Myles Garrett had an indefinite suspension for trying to kill a man.
That was out of control.
Yeah. I was watching that game and it was I didn't know how to react. I was like, "Hey, man, we beat the Steelers." Fuck. Myles is out for the rest of the year. So, but yeah, I think I don't have anything else on Deshaun. And did anybody else have anything that popped up in the NFL that they saw that they wanted to talk about? I mean, I know
McLaurin got a big contract.
Yeah, Scary Terry got a big contract, and good for him. He fucking deserves it. I feel so bad for him though because Carson Wentz is going to throw him the ball for probably 4 weeks this year.
No way! I think he's going to be fine with him.
For 4 weeks until
you
that
think Carson
field
Wentz is
claims
be
his
fine?
knees.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be great, but I think he'll be okay if he could do what he did with what he's had.
I think when he's on the field, Carson Wentz plays fine, but he's just so injury prone, and that field up there in Washington is just
if you're going to break
for
2 ankles,
killing people.
Then yeah.
Look, don't ever wish an injury upon a person, but history has just not been fair to quarterbacks on that field.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up. But of course, we did get one final thing in here. So we have a Lineman Lounge hotline, and one of our regular callers has now made his appearance. So, Torres, you are on the Lineman Lounge, and what do you got for us, man?
Nothing. I'm just glad that Carson Wentz is no longer our problem. I agree with Evo. He is pretty good when he's on the field. He's just injury prone, but I don't give a shit anymore because he's no longer my problem.
So you guys are ready to roll out there in Indy with Matt Ryan. Glad that Carson is gone.
Yes, 100%.
Is Matt Ryan that missing piece? Is he going to take you to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl?
I don't know, dude. We keep making such bad decisions on quarterbacks where it's like a temporary fix. It's so army of the Colts right now to just put a Band-Aid on a position. But for now, I say we can probably use him for 2 years before he either breaks, retires, leaves us like Phillip Rivers did. He was like, he did good, and then he's just like, just kidding. I'm going to go coach, high school football or some shit?
Yeah, he's coaching high school football. Well, he got tired of throwing a medicine ball around the field, so...
Can I ask him a question?
Absolutely. So,
we'll see.
So Torres, I know you're on a little bit of a delay from what everybody can hear, but Gabb has a question for you. Go ahead, Gabb.
My question is, would you rather have Baker Mayfield over Matt Ryan, or is Matt Ryan
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
the guy?
Did you hear the question yet?
Baker Mayfield, honestly, I thought we were going to get him. I don't mind Baker Mayfield. I think we have enough of a running game to where he could just be there, to like throw the ball, kind of like how Carson Wentz was. Would I have wanted Matt Ryan earlier? Yeah. But I really wouldn't mind if we get Baker Mayfield. Again, like we rely on defense and a good run game, and all you need is somebody to manage the game. And I think he would be able to do that. I think he'll bounce back. I think if he stops making commercials and starts studying the playbook better, he'll be good again, or not good again, but like better.
All right. Well, I mean, so I think Baker will find somewhere to land. Where that fucking is at this point, I don't know. Will he be better? I don't know, because there's not a better running game in the NFL probably than the Cleveland Browns. I don't think he is a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he is probably top 20. He's like 20 right now. Like it's probably the highest I could. I don't know. Like
I don't know
love
if I'd
Baker.
put him in the top 20.
I could maybe go. I could go 25. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man. I love Baker. Like this is something that Gabb does not know. My youngest daughter, her middle name is Baker. Her name is Elizabeth Baker. Yes, it is.
Because of Baker Mayfield?
Yes, ma'am. I was all in. I was all in. I was sold that Baker was the guy.
That's your choice to make. I mean, he was good. We have a playoff win.
Took us to the fucking playoffs.
You can't take that one away. But he will throw 4 interceptions.
He will throw 4 interceptions in a game that you absolutely should win.
Yeah.
So, I ain't naming my dog or my kids Kirk Cousins. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, don't name him Kirk.
Okay, so do you have a beer next to you?
Yes, I have a beer next to me.
All right. Well, I guess we know what we need to do.
Yeah. So, Gabb, Torres always calls in and tries to make me chug a beer with him. And typically I do, and I will right now as well. And I almost beat his ass like universally, but I am chugging a White Claw, so it's probably not.
Oh, yeah. That's a little harder to chug.
Pinky out, baby. White Claw.
All right,
oh.
You tell me when you're ready, brother.
All right, brother. Hang on. All right. Black cherry White Claw. So this time I am not going to give you the advantage of waiting till you say go to crack it. I'm going to crack it first. That way you don't fucking beat me this time, Torres.
I like it. I actually took a selfie, so I'm going to post that on all your platforms.
There you go. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. All right, you ready? Give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
I know that's burning your throat.
Yeah, that doesn't look fun.
It was not great. Not fun. Torres, you won again because chugging White Claws is not a simple feat. But, all right, brother. Thank you very much for calling in.
Keep a beer around.
Of course, brother. All right. Stay safe. Go, go.
All right, buddy. Later. All right. So, yeah, that was fun. Torres always calls in. I think he started that as soon as we got the phone line. He was calling in.
That's funny.
To make me chug beers because he thinks it's funny. But I got nothing else. I got nothing else on this. Sean, do you guys have anything else you want to say? No?
No, I think I'm good to go on my end, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Gabb, one more time before we get out of here, tell everybody where they can check out all your stuff.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Gabb Goudy, GABBGOUDY, on FanDuel, everywhere, on every platform they have too. And yeah, that's what I got.
All right. And guys, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube, which is where hopefully a lot of you are watching this right now. But we're going to get the fuck out of here. Enjoy the rest of our Saturdays. I'm going to try to catch a good baseball game this evening since the Guardians got their asses kicked tonight, this afternoon. But thank you so much. We appreciate you. Sleeves are always optional. See ya.
Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are off.